What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, fellow sports fans? We appreciate you all joining the Ballistic Report. I'm Corey Spivey here with Taylor Moore, and we're going to talk some NBA basketball, particularly the All-Star season. Even though we said, we weren't going to have one at the beginning of the season, yet here we are with everything that's going on. All-Star rosters were released not too long ago. As is every year, there's a lot of discrepancies, a lot of disagreements, ups and downs, whatever the case may be. But what are your initial thoughts that come to mind when you saw the complete All-Star roster?
Man, honestly, I couldn't complain too much, man, because I'm looking at how many players are scoring 20 plus points a game. It's too many players now, man. Because right now with the league, man, you're basically playing in a bubble, just like in different cities, basically, So
Yep.
for a lot of players, they may just be more comfortable, playing the game of basketball. And the way it's looking like, man, people are just scoring the ball out the gym, man. They're scoring out the gym, So, man, so for one, you can definitely look at the points to kind of see that, hey, all right, these players deserve to be here, man. But other than that, I started looking at the standings, and I looked at the standings from the East and from the West. It's not a lot of separation, um, man. Really, like besides, man, like the 1 and 2 and possibly like the 3 seeds. Other than that, it's pretty stacked again. So
Yeah.
I can't complain about what I've seen. I'm glad to see a couple new faces like Julius Randle, man, and also just the fact, man, that the Knicks they're in playoff contention right now, man. So
Yeah.
if we were to start right now, they'll be in the playoffs, which for people like Stephen A. Smith, he's always crying and upset about the Knicks not being good. So hey,
Right.
Tom Thibodeau there, and he's able to get the troops together and get those players playing pretty well together. Man, other than that, like most of the players here, it's I can't complain about it, man. I'm happy to see Zach Levine. He was able to get, man, because he's definitely
Mm-hmm.
been on some bad teams.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he's always been balling out, So it's good to see him as well as Bradley Beal. He's always scoring the ball, man. He can easily put the ball in the bucket, and I believe that he's the leading scorer for this season right now.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that he's doing that, you have to put him in uh, the
Right.
All Star this year. What you think?
I liked it. I didn't have any problem with it either. I feel like they got it right. I think that's always a difficult process, with the voting and, fan perspective, and especially this year, you don't really know how much of this is authentic, especially with not having the pressure of fans, and the change of the travel schedule. But I think ultimately they got it right. I'm looking at some guys that could have been on there. We'll get into that in a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
I'm looking at some guys that maybe shouldn't have been on there, but I mean that from any year, it's always like that. So I think you just got to go with your gut. And I think that they got it right. But one of the main points of concern throughout the NBA talk, and I kind of picked up with me a little bit. But what are your thoughts on this Damian Lillard versus Luka thing? Do you think they were right by putting Luka in, or do you think Damian Lillard should have got in over Luka?
Man, Damian Lillard should have easily been picked over Luka
Yeah.
Doncic, but a part of the All Star voting, 50% of it goes to the fans, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously, due to where he's at playing with the Dallas Mavericks and the fact he's coming from overseas, so you have a combination of fans from all over the world for him at
Yeah.
least. So he has that fan base that probably exceeds the one of Damian Lillard. But we all know that when it's clutch time, it's Dame time.
That's right.
So even this season alone, Damian Lillard, man, he done had a couple late shot game winners, man, just to close
Yeah.
out and to get the victory, man. So this season alone, man, for me, it's proven that he should be picked over Luca, and also the fact of their situation. Yeah, CJ McCollum is out, Nurkic is out, and they're like fourth or fifth in the West. Two starters out, and he's doing what he has to do. So it honestly it's kind of sad uh, that happens, but they have to change some part of that fan voting just to make it more fair for players who actually are performing better than other teams because you look at Luka's team with the Dallas Mavericks, man. In the West, they're like in like the bottom half of the league from their standings at least.
Yeah.
So when you see that, and I'm not taking anything away from Luka because he's a baller too, and he can hit some
Right.
shots too. But when it comes down to it, in the body of work from this season alone, man, you have to go with Damian Lillard.
Yeah, I think this is back-to-back seasons. He's been absolutely wrong. Damian Lillard is a flat-out dog. Like, I mean, there's, you know, he's one of those guys who's going to show up every night. You know, he's right up there with Russell Westbrook on all-out exhaustion that he's going to give you on, you know, every night, no matter if they're playing bottom of the league team or they're playing the defending champs. He's going to come in every night. He's going to give you your best shot. He plays with intensity. He plays with intelligence, and he plays with heart. And he plays without one thing, and that's fear. If the ball is in his hands at the end of the game, he's taking it. He's ripping it. I don't care if it's from 15 feet or if it's from 37 feet over one of the best defenders. You know, that's just who he is. And, you know, I think that the reason, like you said, that I think Luka got in over him is because of the way that the voting is set up. You know, and I think that's okay, especially for the message that the NBA is trying to send right now, which is equality. And so you want, you know, kind of like a melting pot of a lot of players. Don't get me wrong, I'm right there with you. Luka Doncic can ball. Like, he's good. He's sweet with the rock. You know what I'm saying? He can finish like, you know, nobody at the rim. He can pass it around. His vision is top tier. But I think, again, back-to-back years, Damian Lillard has just been flat out done wrong. He's one of the best players in the league. I agree with Uncle Shay. You know, he's probably the most clutch player of this generation of basketball. And I'm going to say from Kobe on, because, you know my stance on Kobe Bryant. Him and Mike, they're right there, all-time clutch. But, you know, outside of MJ, outside of Kobe, I think Damian Lillard's right there, man. Like, he's the only player in the league right now. If I had to pick one guy and say, he's your last shot, who you want? Damian Lillard is that guy. So I absolutely think he should have got in there over Luka. But as we kind of look at this broader umbrella of being snubbed, do you think there was anybody else outside of Damian Lillard?
Man, honestly, well, of course, Devin Booker, you know, but like when Anthony Davis injury, he was able to get in.
Yeah.
You know, so that was,
Yeah.
you know, just kind of like a given to put Devin Booker in, you know. But other than that, man, you know, looking at Sabonis, averaging 21, 12, and 5 rebounds. You're looking at Gordon Hayward, man, because I honestly, when he went to the Charlotte Hornets, I was expecting him to get injured. You know, honestly,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, man. But hey, for him to average 22 points and like 4 or 5 assists a game, you know, for him to do that, and he's helping that team stay within the playoff contention too. So you have to give him a little credit. But I mean, honestly, man, like the list that we're given, I can't complain, man, other than
Right.
just Devin Booker. But since he was able to get in, I'm satisfied, man.
Yeah. Me too, man. I'm looking over and I'm trying to find, like, man, okay, who's here, who's there, and then it pops back up into my head what Jalen Rose said, and he says it every year, like, don't tell me someone got snubbed if you're not able to tell me who needs to come out. And so as I'm looking at this, his words keep playing in my mind, and I'm going, man, okay, this person maybe should have got in. Then I'm like, okay, but none of these people need to come out. So I guess to answer the question, somebody may have got snubbed, but not to the point to where I think they should have got in over anybody. Like I said at the beginning, I'm satisfied with this list, man. So, you know, snub talk is going to be pretty much just banter every single year. You know, but as we look at the entire roster, and so you got the East, you got the West, and you've got to pick your first player, but KD is off the table in the East. LeBron James is off the table in the West. Difficult position. But who's your first pick on each side?
Starting out with the East, man. This one is tough, man, because we're looking at all-star teams, so all these players can ball, man. But the way that I kind of took it is that I'm looking at, you know, if I were to draft them from their age, that when they were drafted into the league, I'm looking at their durability. I'm looking at their attitude and how they came into the game playing. So people like Joel Embiid, I wouldn't select him because the first couple of years he was dealing with injuries, he barely played. You look at someone like Ben Simmons, he was injured the first year, and we know with him, he don't only have a jump shot. So that's
Yeah.
all to his will. But from the Eastern Conference, man, you probably get me for this one, but I'm gonna say Jason Tatum.
Okay.
And I say Jason Tatum because if you look at his team, okay, man. So as he was drafted with the Celtics, he came into teams that already had playmakers. We're looking at Gordon, Kyrie Irving, uh, Jaylen Brown. So his team was already stable, and so his team was already set in stone and already a solid playoff team that came in, and he was still able to contribute, average 18, 19, 20 points a game. And he has help on his team. And I said it because he wasn't guaranteed as that number one or number two option. Well, I'll say number two option at least, but man, but with Kyrie Irving, man, he's gonna take that shot.
Right.
I would say Jason Tatum, and just the fact that if he were to have his own team where he's the number one option at all times, he's putting up more than 25 points a game. But he, man, but honestly, because someone I kind of think about by me saying that would be Zach LaVine, man. He's been on a bunch of bad teams, but he's been able to put up points. But I think Jason Tatum, the way that he's playing now, he's only going up. So I would have to go with Jason Tatum on the East. What you think?
No, I'm not. I'm definitely not going to make any fun of you for that. It wasn't where I thought you were going to go. I actually thought when you said you're going to make fun of me, I thought you were going to go to my pick. My pick would have been Bradley Beal. Because I think when I look at Damian Lillard and McCollum, I see what could have been in Washington if John Wall could have stayed healthy.
Gotcha.
But Bradley Beal too often, too soon, was forced to be the main piece. And I don't think that's how the team should have been constructed. And, it's not his fault. It's not John Wall's fault. John Wall didn't wake up on those games and say, you know what, I'm going to miss the next, 2 out of 4 years. He didn't wake up and say that. So it's not either their fault. But Bradley Beal definitely would have been my pick. I think that he got overlooked early and is getting his credit now. And I think it would have been on the flip side. We could have been talking about him as one of the top guys, if he was on a different team with, a bona fide right-hand guy that stayed healthy. Bradley Beal, he can get to the bucket, shoot from anywhere. He can defend. He's got good size. He's got a good attitude. And I'm ultimately, glad to see them kind of coming together. So Bradley Beal would have been my pick out of the East, man. But so on the West, outside of LeBron, who do you pick?
Yeah, man, we talked about this guy earlier, and this man, I had to go Damian Lillard, man.
Yeah.
Watching him as a rookie coming to the league, man, it's just something about those players who come in who have that swagger, who are not afraid of the big lights, and now someone that I think about, shout out to the Memphis Grizzlies, Ja Morant, man, you look at someone like that, he's coming to the league, he doesn't fear anyone. And you look at Damian Lillard, man, he doesn't fear anyone. He wants the ball in his hand. He's a distributor of the ball. And when it comes down to the last few seconds, as we talked about, he wants that shot. And also, also just the way, man, the league is going now, you have to have a good point guard. Like, you have to have that guard play. And I look at the Phoenix Suns, man, they brought in Chris Paul, and I look at them. They're in playoff contentions, or they have the number 4 seed, I think, playoff seed in the West, if it were to start right now. So having a good point guard is essential. And something about him is that he's been durable for the most part. He doesn't complain, and he doesn't mind being in that small market. Unlike some players who, hey, they want those other markets just for, maybe just for a better lifestyle there, or maybe for endorsements or whatnot. And he wants that grind, and he wants to bring a championship to the city. Now, I don't know if he's gonna get that done or not.
Yeah.
I hope he does, but the way the West is looking, it's not looking too good for him. But
Right.
I would say if I had to build a team around someone, I have to go Damian Lillard.
Yeah. The injury that was a good pick. That was originally where I was gonna go.
Yeah.
The injury kind of throws things off. It clouds things this year. But my guy was Anthony Davis. I think not even the team, because I think he was on decent teams when he was in New Orleans. But I think the way Dell Demps, kind of handled things, and then ultimately his response, it messed things up. But I think if he could have also, if I can build my team around him, and, if I can get another pure point, I think he could have been a monster. And I think he is now. But now that he's with LeBron, now that he's in a culture that's winning. But again, he's a guy who you can put down the block, and he's difficult to handle. He's not the biggest guy as far as, girth, but, he's got some size on him. He's got some quick feet, some nice footwork for a big man. He sees the floor well. He rebounds well. He can shoot inside, outside the paint. And I think ultimately, now that he's moved out of the toxic environment, he's ultimately been a good teammate. So outside of LeBron James, I think Anthony Davis is that guy that I would have picked. But man, that was difficult because there were so many guys there. There were so many guys there. Who was your second pick, if you had to?
Man, from the East, man, I want to go with Giannis, but the thing is that it took him some time to develop, because the first couple of years he wasn't as strong as he was now. His body shape was it was nowhere to where he was looking his rookie season, man. But the way he is now, the only thing that's holding back now is really just having like that good mid-range game.
Yeah.
And to be able to shoot on the outside, man. Other than that, man, he can rebound the ball well, and he can guard any position on the floor just about. So I think I would go Giannis, man. Who would you go from the East for your second pick?
Man, okay.
It's tough.
Yeah. So if I'm not trying to pair these guys together.
Oh, okay. Good.
But I tell you what, did you try to pair those two guys together?
No, I wasn't trying to, man. But the thing is, that would be a good pair, though.
Yeah, I mean, if I don't have to pair these guys together, I think I ultimately, and I'm hesitating, and when I say it, you're gonna understand why. But I think I would have had to have picked James Harden. Like, I would have had to. He's too good to pass up on. I don't think they would have worked well together. But I think he would have been my second pick. I mean, he's probably going to go down as the greatest, guard again, outside of MJ and Kobe, that we've ever seen at his position. So I think James Harden would have been that guy.
And this season alone, man, just watching him distribute the ball, man, and even Kyrie Irving was like, listen, James Harden, you're the point guard. And the fact that he can switch up and be the 1 and 2 at will at any time he wants to, because we know with Houston, he didn't mind putting the ball inside the basket at all. Man, but the thing is that it started taking a toll on him, toward the end, eventually he was with the Nets. But yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with James Harden either.
Nah.
You can't. Now from the West, for me, I chose Kawhi Leonard. If I had to choose that second pick, I had to go Kawhi Leonard, man, because as far as defense, man, there's not a lot of players who are playing defense in the league.
No.
To have someone like that, and also, man, you probably seen the image of his hand. Like, they call him the claw for a read, dude. This man man hands are huge, man. So when it comes to stealing that ball and you rebound, that's all him. And
Yeah.
so the fact that he can be able to guard multiple positions again, and he can be able to uh, take those clutch shots at some moments of the game. We seen when he was with the Toronto Raptors, man, he came through clutch a few times for
Hmm.
the team in playoffs, man. But I would have to go Kawhi Leonard, man. Although he had a couple injuries, with the Spurs,
Hmm.
but other than that, man, yeah, I would have to go with him.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the hometown discount. I think the Grizzlies got it right, man. Ja Morant, he's a cold-blooded
Yeah,
killer, bro. Like man, he's raw.
yeah.
He's raw. And if I had to go, with the second guy, it's gonna be Ja Morant, man. I didn't get the opportunity to see him when he came to Nashville, Tennessee State.
Mhm.
But I pretty much stuck with them, through media and their website and things like that. Yo, yeah, man, he's cold. He's cold, man. He's cold. So, but we'll see how this All-Star weekend goes. Man, they got here quicker than I thought it would,
Oh,
man. Well, we like what, a week or two away,
yeah.
if not less.
March 7th, I
So
believe.
it's the 7th, yeah. So yeah, you guys tune in. NBA All-Star Weekend. Where is it this year? I don't even.
Atlanta.
Atlanta. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
Atlanta.
Okay.
At
Yeah.
all places, Atlanta.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't think there was gonna be one, so that's why when it came out, it kind of threw me off. But I mean, it is what it is. ATL All-Star Weekend. That's gonna be lit. Y'all tune in. Y'all join in. Tune in to the Ballistic Report next time we're up. As always, we appreciate you all for joining in with us. Share, like, comment, and we'll see you next time on the Ballistic Report.